discussion a little bit late, but there's a growing concern between companies like Netflix and the internet providers as far as bandwidth and providing that bandwidth. I know CNN doesn't necessarily put a lot of video content, well maybe you do, I'm not sure, but a lot of video. Where does CNN kind of fall on that discussion as far as having to pay for, providing their users that more larger type?
Netflix is so far ahead of the game in terms of like how many people use Netflix here? Me too. Like Netflix, and I can't quote it, but there are some charts of how much of the internet usage is Netflix. It's like 50-something%. So like the little stuff that we're doing in terms of CNN and our live TV and our VOD is not even near what Netflix is doing. So I mean, we're not even part of that conversation. The interesting and exciting thing about Netflix and what they're doing is giving that choice to the user, right? They capitalize on that ability to provide personalized recommendations and personalized experience. That's why, in my opinion, it's working so well, right? It makes a lot of sense for the user. That user doesn't necessarily want to have 100+ channels and pay for all of them, and I only really watch 5, right? I want to just see that show, that show, that show, and that show. That's what they're doing. Beautiful.
Do you think that this will affect the regular TV viewership?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I was working at a Comcast or Time Warner or something about that, I mean, the trajectory is changing, And really, I feel like it is spurred by that personal phone. Like, who has a smartphone here, right? So it's all in line, right? You have this personal phone, you have this personal device, and I want it done the way that I want. You're empowered. So that empowerment, you want to push it across the board. So that's it's a sign of the times. It's all related. It really is.
I have another question about on your phone, when you go to stream a video or something, there's a way that they can, if they have ad content, they lock you in. 15 seconds, you have to watch this commercial.
Right.
I'm wondering if they're going to institute something like that for regular TV, because everybody owns a DVR these days. I don't watch commercials, so I'm just wondering how that might impact it.
I'm sure they're thinking through that. In fact, I was talking to one of the senior project guys over at Comcast a couple days ago, and they're definitely trying to figure out what they can do to make that leap, right? Because they're not going to bring the user back to the old model. They have to adapt to the new model. So how do I do that, right? How do I become a Netflix when I don't have that autonomy, when I have all that old structure that I have to continue to support? So I mean, that's top of mind for him. So I know it's top of mind for that company.
Just to follow what I'm starting to see more and more is product placement becoming more of a thing in television shows. You'll see them, showing that new Ford Focus or the Sync or whatever, and showing the actors using that product. And maybe advertising is going to go that way, and we'll see commercials so much as.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It does. And I mean, in addition to Netflix, we're big Hulu people too. So, they make you watch those 2 commercials, and it really doesn't feel that bad, right? It's okay. Because I'm really getting to do and watch things that I want to watch and not be controlled by 7 to 8 p.m. I'll make sure I schedule out my DVR.
I think the mobile gives CNN the opportunity to rather do a target advertisement, right? Because pretty much who's looking at your video rather than the general TV, right?
Right. So I mean, that's the capabilities of the program. And I know who you are. I know certain things about their behavior, and I can target you accordingly.
It's kind of real-time tracking, not real-time, just.
Well, so how most mobile analytics work these days is there's a series of things that we're tracking, and then once you in that section or at a certain time, we bundle all of that up and it gets sent over to the analytics team. But yeah, we can track down to the hour down.
What demographic is using the CNN mobile app?
It's wide. It really is wide. I mean, the same. The TV skews a little bit older, obviously, but we get a wide spectrum of it out.
What about international CNN?
Yeah. So I mean, we definitely have an international product. I mean, we could do much more in supporting But, you know, we do have a fair amount of users on there. I would say it's probably about 20% or so.
Kind of going back to what Jeff was talking about with the net neutrality argument. So it's clear that content is kind of moving towards more mobile kind of internet-based watching. So where do you guys stand as far? Do you guys have a strategy for? Are you just going to wait and see how it plays out, or are you on Time Warner's side, or do you have some kind of like idea of like a la carte cable service? You know what I mean?
Well, you know, that's not, to be honest, like from a product perspective, I don't really know what CNN's mind is on that, but, you know, CNN is just a channel. So CNN's goal is to get as many eyes as possible. So whatever we can do that doesn't affect our relationships with those Comcast and Time Warners and all those kinds of things, those are the things that we're doing. Just like when you look into the application, that live TV experience, there's a lot of changes and enhancements that are in that and coming down the pipe to support that, as we want to get as many viewers as possible and still, you know, keep up the relationship.
What do you think of location about the Fox CNN? Do you see any similarity? What?
Well, you know, I would say that's less platform specific, and it's really about, you know, the presentation of the content and how it's used, right? You know, traditionally CNN has been more moderate. You can agree or disagree about that, but that's traditionally where it's been. Fox has been more to the right. You know? So I feel like, you know, in terms of the demographics, that's really how we split as opposed to platforms.
I have a random question. $19 billion for WhatsApp. What's your opinion?
I mean, I love the story of those guys. That if you haven't saw that story, it's amazing. I love that story. But I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because, you know, if you're going to move fast in this marketplace, you know, if you need something, either you build it yourself and you take X amount of time out, or you buy it, right? If you look at how quickly they're taking on users, you know, if Facebook would wait a year or so to build it themselves, you know, they may not be able to compete with them. So I think, you know, it makes a lot of sense to acquire those users now. It gives them that demographic that they're slowly, well, unofficially, but it seems to me that they're starting to lose, right, that younger user, because too many moms and dads and grandparents and all that kind of stuff is getting on Facebook. So it extends that range for them, and, you know, they didn't have to ramp up time to support it. I think it's a good thing. Well, a good thing for Facebook. I don't know about
And for the people that work at WhatsApp.
Yeah.
$3 billion. And it's, you said that you know their story. I was reading about it today. Both of the owners of WhatsApp were turned down jobs. Facebook turned them down for jobs a couple of years ago. And Facebook gave them $1 billion.
That makes, that, you know, I love that. I love that story, and that's why I love working with mobile, because it's still like, it's becoming more formalized, but like when I started in 2007, 2008, you could throw up an app, and you could get downloads and views and usage, and you can make money, and you can still do that. You know, it's so accessible. You can learn how to build an app. Even if you don't want to learn how to code, there's certain things that you can do to create one. It's not, the barriers to entry are low. And, you know, really, when you get into the App Store, it's going away a little bit more as they become more formalized. But if you got a good product or something addicting like Flappy Bird, you can go and be on the same level as CNN and others. And that's a beautiful thing, right? You know, how many other industries can you do that? So, you know, that's, it's great.
There's the CNN app, I don't have any, I should have played with it before you came to class today. Are you allowed to comment on the stories?
Yes.
Do you guys control that at all?
Well, you can comment, the only platform that we don't have commenting on is actually our iPhone application. Don't ask me why, that decision was made before I got there, I don't agree, but any other platform you can. Now, in terms of control, it's the same type of controls that commenting has across the site. The same master manages all of them, and so they do some level of moderation.
And do you think that improves your app? Is that, you think, when you look forward, you think allowing the user to comment and post their opinion on the story is crucial to the development of these news applications?
I completely do. I completely do. Because, you know, mobile is so sorry if you don't like this. But we would catch people that were walking right outside of the theater. And you would be amazed at the number and the quality of the type of ratings that we got through the movies with Fandango. So, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. We need to connect with the user and give you an opportunity to be a part of the experience. Not just, and not just in commenting, right? If you like a white text on a black screen or black text on a white screen, you should be able to do those type of things. You should allow for customization for the user. It's important. Any other questions? Well, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. GSU souvenir for you. And what about Mr. Robbins? I will want you. Okay, thank you. Good. All right, and so I wanted to give you one big hand, and then so we take about 10-minute break. Okay, one more time.